Hi guys, this video we're going to see about investment fluctuation reserve. Hopefully last video I've explained about workman's compensation reserve. I think you guys would have understood that. Okay, now workman's compensation reserve as well as investment fluctuation reserve, both are very important concept to be understood, because these adjustments are sure to be asked in any admission problem that you come across. So let's see how we can solve investment fluctuation reserve. Okay, see I have 5 scenarios here. Okay, we will see how to approach all these scenarios. Once you understand all these 5, I'm sure you will be able to solve this very easily. Okay, now here on the balance sheet I have investment fluctuation reserve of 18,000. okay, and I have the investment at cost 2 lakh, which is in the asset side. Now let us understand why this investment fluctuation reserve is first of all created. I think I've already explained to you why the specific reserve is created, but let me repeat that again for you. See, generally the company makes an investment in some securities or shares or whatever, so that is the value of the investment. But you guys know that investments are fluctuated according to the market situation. It can even fetch you a profit or loss. If at all they come across any loss or decrease in the market value of the investment, that will be met out of the reserve which is created for this specific purpose. So this reserve is mainly created in order to meet up any such losses that might occur in future, because market are completely prone to fluctuations. So in this case, they have made 2 lakhs of investment, and you guys are seeing that there is 18,000 in the fluctuation reserve. Let's take the first scenario. Okay, the market value of investment is not given. When I say no information, the market value of investments is not given at all in the problem. In that case, what do? You all know that generally the reserves are divided among the partners in the old ratio, which is very clearly explained before. Okay, so similarly I have a reserve here and market value of investment is not given, meaning there is no change in the market value of investment. So what do I do in that case? I will simply divide the reserve among the old partners in the old ratio. So I have 18,000, I have 3 partners. Okay, so I've divided among them in the old ratio which is given in the problem. Okay, now let's go to case 2. Market value of investment is 2 lakhs. So if you check the cost value of investment, what is cost? The rate at which I bought that investment. The company has bought the investment. So the investment was bought at 2 lakh. Now the market value is also 2 lakhs, which means there is no change in the market value, meaning they are not incurring any loss. So when there is no loss, we are not going to touch this reserve at all. So simply divide that reserve among the old partners in the same ratio. So I have not repeated that entry because it's going to be the same entry even for case B. There is no change in the market value, so I am not dividing the reserve. So it's the same entry that's going to be repeated, so I have not repeated the entry here. Hope you guys understood this. Now let's see the third scenario. The market value of the investment is 1,91,000. But what about the cost? The cost of investment is 2 lakh. So you could see that there is a decrease in the market value of 9,000. So there is a loss. The company is incurring a loss because of the decrease in the market value. They bought the investment for 2 lakh, but now the value is only 1,91,000. So this loss or difference or shortage of 9,000 will be met out of the reserve which is created for that purpose. So out of the 18,000, I'll be utilizing 9,000 for this loss, and whatever remaining, if there is any, I'll divide among the partners in the old ratio, which is the usual procedure. So if you look at my entry, I'm using the investment fluctuation reserve of 18,000. Okay, out of the 18,000, I'm giving it to the investment account of 9,000. See, 9,000 goes to investment account. This is nothing but the loss we are meeting out of the reserve. The balance what I have balance of 9,000. That I've divided among the 3 partners in their old ratio to A, B and C respectively. So A is getting a share of 4, 3 and 2 respectively. So any shortage or any loss, I repeat, will be met out of the reserve. If there is any amount remaining, then that will be divided among the partners. Hope that is clear. Okay, now let's go to the next scenario. The market value of investment is 1,73,000. Okay, now let's see case D. Okay, in this the market value of investment is 1,73,000. But look at the cost of the investment, it is 2 lakh. So what's happening in this case? There is a decrease in the value of the market investment by 27,000, which means there is a loss of 27,000. As I've already told you, when there is a loss, what do? we go and meet this loss out of the reserve. But here, if you look at the reserve, we have only 18,000 on the reserve. Okay, but whereas the loss here is too much, it's 27,000. So what do we do when the reserve itself is not sufficient to meet out the loss? That's what this case is all about. Be very, very clear. So when the loss is more, you have to completely utilize the reserve. That's what I've done here. So I've taken that entire 18,000 for investment, but even after using the reserve, there is a 9,000 shortage. So whenever there is shortage, just like I've explained to you in workman's compensation reserve, we take the help of revaluation account. So when there is a loss or a shortage, even after utilizing the reserve completely, take the difference from the revaluation account. So I'm debiting the revaluation account here to the extent of the excess amount that we need over and above my reserve. So my reserve is 18,000, my revaluation account is 9,000. So totally I'm using that 27,000 for the loss of investment here. Hope you guys understand. I'll repeat that. Whenever your reserve is not sufficient enough to meet out the loss, use the reserve completely. Whatever amount you need more than your reserve, use the revaluation account or debit the revaluation account. And ultimately in turn, that loss of revaluation will be borne by the partners. See, if there is any income, we credit it to the partner. If there is a loss or an expense, we debit it from the partner. That is the general logic. So that is why there is an extra entry in this case. So I have debited the revaluation 9,000. So who's going to bear this? Ultimately the partners. So I am debiting all the partners' capital account and crediting the revaluation so that the revaluation account gets closed. So this 9,000 loss is borne by the partners in their whole profit sharing ratio. So there is an extra entry in this case. Hope you guys understood the reason why we are passing this entry. There is a excess loss even over and above the reserve that we have. Okay, so that is why we are using revaluation account. Now let's take the next scenario. The market value of investment is 2,18,000. Now investment cost is only 2 lakh, but here the market value is 2,18,000. Can you see the difference in the scenario? In all the previous scenario, the cost of the investment went down. There was a loss. We met out of the reserve. But here the market value of investment has gone high. 2 lakhs is the cost of the investment, but my market value is 2,18,000. So we are gaining an 18,000 more. So in this case, it's an income. So it's very simple. We don't need to go in help of the fluctuation reserve. We don't need to use that reserve because there is no loss. So simply take the reserve and divide it among the partners in the old ratio. When you don't utilize the reserve, you have to divide it among the partners. So that's what I'm doing it here. You take the reserve of 18,000, divide it to all the partners in their old ratio. Just like the case 1, case 2 entry, because I am not utilizing the reserve. Why I am not utilizing the reserve? I don't need to do it because there is no loss. There is no fall in the market value. Instead, I am only getting a gain here. Okay. So I have not recorded the gain anywhere now. I have simply distributed the reserve, which is a usual thing that we do. So I need to also record the gain. What do I do? When there is a loss, I am debiting the revaluation account. So similarly, when there is a profit, I'll have to credit the revaluation account. So I'm getting this profit from investments. So I'm debiting investments account and I'm crediting revaluation account to the extent of the profit I'm gaining here. Here the gain is 18,000, okay. So investment account debit to revaluation account is my new entry. And as I told you earlier, I debited revaluation account, which is a loss, so that has to be borne by the existing partners. Similarly, in this case, there is a gain of 18,000, so I'm crediting revaluation account. That again has to be distributed to the partners, because even if it's a loss, it ends up in the partners. Even if it's a profit, that has to go to the partners. So I'm crediting the partners' capital account. The 18,000, so I just debit revaluation account, I'm crediting the partners account in the old ratio. Hope you guys are very, very clear. These two scenarios are quite contradictory, and if you understand that particular situation, you'll be able to pass the entry. So you will know why this extra entry is passed, because of what reason. If you understand that, that becomes very simple. Hopefully you understood this. If you have any doubts, please comment below, or you write to me as usual at academicsforyou@gmail.com. Thank you so much.